Hello, I'm Rob Thomas with Club and Resort Business. Welcome to another episode of the Club and Resort Talks podcast. Today's podcast is sponsored by Southern Pride. Southern Pride was founded in 1976 when Mike Robertson and his father, BB, hand-built and marketed their first rotisserie smoker. Today, nearly 26,000 smokers later, Southern Pride fabricates and assembles every smoker by hand in their 117,000 square foot manufacturing facility in Alamo, Tennessee. Learn more at southernpride.com. Get that taken care of. Let's introduce you to Phil Karen, our senior editor. Phil, how's it going?
I'm doing great, Rob. How are you?
Hey, no complaints, Phil. No complaints at all. What are you seeing
Good.
in the news these days?
Well, I wanted to start up in northern Michigan. We had a story this week on clubandresortbusiness.com talking about how the Highlands in Harbor Springs, Michigan, is now scheduled to host an event on the Epson Tour in 2025. As many of our audience probably know, Epson Tour was formerly known as the LPGA Futures Tour. And the event itself, it's going to be the inaugural Great Lakes Championship, and it'll actually be at the Highlands Heather course next June 20 of 2025. And Mike Chumbler, general manager and president of the Highlands, says hosting the event underscores our commitment to golf and further highlights Northern Michigan as a premier destination for exceptional golf. So I was thinking it's a nice, great to see that. As I was telling you a second ago, my family and I vacationed up in northern Michigan a few times over the years. Although when I think about it, I think it's been more than a decade since. But when we have, I've had an opportunity to enjoy golf up there. And for anybody who hasn't been in northern Michigan, I do feel like the northern part of the lower peninsula, and of course the UP itself, northern Michigan, beautiful place. Probably one of the more beautiful places in the United States. It probably doesn't get enough credit. Although I think sometimes the people who live up there like the fact that it's sort of a hidden gem as well. But if you like doing things outdoors, whether it's fishing, golf, hunt, kayaking, hiking, biking, you name it, outdoor activity, it's a prime place for it because the weather's, especially in the summertime, is perfect. It's not too hot. So I think it's great that the Epson Tour is going to have an event up there next year. I've always thought it didn't get enough credit, and I know it was one of the, yeah, Josh Richter, who's the senior vice president of golf at Boyne Resorts, which is where Highlands under that umbrella, says the Heather course is actually the first Boyne course and is credited sparking as being the spark that started the golf boom in northern Michigan. And I'm glad to see that that'll get a spotlight as well as just the northern Michigan area itself, kind of a hidden gem in our country for sure.
Yeah, if you've only been to Detroit or Flint, Michigan, you're kind of you're not seeing what Michigan's all about. Michigan
Right.
is a beautiful, beautiful state. Even if I'm not a big fan of their college football team, but I'd say that neither here nor there. I know you're a big fan. So, but this is now the third golf course in this little area, or third tournament in this area that's hosting an Epson Tour event, which is nice for the cluster, so they don't have to travel, crisscross the country on a limited budget. And one of the other ones is Sweetgrass Golf Club and Sage
Mhm.
Run, which is part of the Island Resort and Casino in the Upper Peninsula. Good friends of ours there. So, good on them. I'm looking forward to seeing what this tournament looks like in 2025.
Yeah, should be great. It'd be great to spotlight Northern Michigan, have more people discover it, and hopefully that event uh, continues to go on for multiple years here. Uh, Moving toward, let's see, we're in Northern Michigan. I headed out west here to the Pacific Northwest. Canterbury Golf and Country Club in Gig Harbor, Washington. I love that name, Gig Harbor. They recently finished several reinvestment efforts, part of an ongoing multi-million dollar reinvestment campaign that's part of Invited's portfolio of clubs. They're one of Invited's clubs. As part of that, Canterwood's dining experience was reimagined through the opening of a restaurant called the Stable House, and I enjoy this that the name is actually tying into the to Canterwood's rich equestrian roots, and the club's name originated from the community's beginnings as a private equestrian community. So the project itself, they renovated the dining area, overhauled the menu, restructured space to better serve members. Private dining area was built to accommodate private gatherings. Bar space has been doubled in size from the previous one, provide a more comfortable setting for guests. And great to see that they're reimagining the dining area. Feel like, Rob, we've seen that a lot with clubs as well. Uh, Going through the pandemic, they were able to kind of reimagine what they might want uh, in that, seeing kind of brought to light what members are interested in that maybe they didn't notice before. And it's great to see that they have this offered and paying homage to their equestrian roots too. I enjoy that.
F&B is a massive part of the club industry,
Mhm.
obviously. I think just right behind golf as far as budget goes. Good on Invited and Canterwood. We have, speaking of Invited, one of our guests, our podcast guests, after you and I are done, is a general manager for Invited down at the Hills in Austin, Texas. So little teaser to that one.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. And actually, Rob, that's perfect. We didn't even plan this, but my next story I was going to mention, lots of renovations are underway at the Live Oak Golf Course at the Hills Country Club down in Austin, Texas. That was another story we had on clubandresortbusiness.com this week. Hills is one of several properties that Invited identified to be included in its multi-year, multi-million dollar reinvestment strategy, designed to, kind of enhance their portfolio of clubs. So the work at the Hills started in 2021. They had a renovation project at the signature course of the club. They also opened the Chophouse, new restaurant there in 2023. And now the Live Oak Golf Course will have a lot of renovation, laser leveling of its tees. They're going to be putting in Tiff Tough Bermuda turf to regrass the areas around the green, which, as I understand it, is a continuation. They already have that type of turf on the fairways. They did that a few years ago. And the other thing they're doing, practice putting green, will be expanded from 5,000 to 8,000 square feet. And that'll be refitted with championship Bermuda grass. Looks like a fantastic project there as well. Good to see to expand the putting green, because as we know, you drive for show and you putt for dough, right? So great to see that project's moving forward with Invited and Live Oak.
I see a lot of the Hills on social media because I'm connected with Tommy Moore, who's in charge of their golf
Mhm.
operations down there. He was at Firestone when I visited there a couple of years ago and wrote the feature article on Firestone. Everything's going on at Firestone, so all part of the Invited umbrella. And that signature course, I know that this article is about the Live Oak, but that signature course is spectacular. Uh,
Mm.
if you're not, go to Club and Resort Business, type in the Hills Country Club in our search bar and look at some of the pictures. It's gorgeous.
Huh. I'm going to check that out myself, Rob. Sounds great. Also, yeah, look forward to that project. And now I'm going to head back to the East Coast, West Philadelphia, actually. Uh, Cobb's Creek Foundation received a grant award from the Jordan Spieth Family Foundation to build a junior putting green on what is the revitalized Cobbs Creek campus in West Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which I know we've had a lot of stories about Cobbs Creek. And actually, to kind of give a quick background on that before I talk about the practice green, Cobbs Creek Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit. They established in 2018. And what they did was they actually restored the Cobbs Creek Golf Course and returned the site to a status as one of Philadelphia's historical landmarks. And they have a really neat program that's there now. They're partnering with local schools and community members. The foundation is trying to create state of the art, economically sustainable golf and educational campus. It's going to provide young people in that area meet their academic, athletic, as well as social, emotional needs. Sounds like a great program. The grant itself that the Jordan Spieth Family Foundation is providing is going to entirely pay for a 20,000 square foot putting green for young players to be introduced to the game of golf. It'll bear the name Jordan Spieth Family Foundation Junior Putting Green. Looks like a great project. The putting green itself is being built outside the TGR Learning Lab. And the Learning Lab itself is going to provide year round education programs for young people. TGR Foundation um, is a Tiger Woods charity. So I know we've had a lot of stories about this in the past, Rob, and I think it's a great program. Great to see now that they're also going to have a great putting green for young people to learn how to putt. And obviously, it's going to, I think, gonna get a lot of attention too. You have two huge names in golf, Tiger Woods and Jordan Spieth, connected with the project now. Wish them the best of luck with that.
I love seeing people who have so much give back to those who don't have a lot, and going back to that community, and Tiger and Jordan both donating time and money to the project is fantastic. But a little off topic, is West Philadelphia where the Fresh Prince was born and raised?
It is indeed. It's funny when I was saying that, Rob, I was thinking that very thing. It's hard to get that song verse out of your mind once you've heard it a few times, right? Very, very
Yeah,
catchy. Very catchy.
we're showing our age.
We
Uh,
are showing our age for sure.
What is not showing its age is the Oaks, the Live Oak course at the Hills. It's going to be spectacular. It's going to be something to behold, as like we talked about earlier about the signature course. So without further ado, let's get to our guest. Hello, and welcome back to the Club and Resort Talks podcast. I'm with John Woodeshick, Senior Vice President and General Manager at the Hills Country Club deep in the heart of Texas, right? We're in the Austin area, I believe. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Hey, thank you for being here. And if you could, real quick, give us an overview of the property. What is included at the Hills?
I think when I tell this story about the Hills, I like to reflect back to the first time I played it. And that was back when I was in college, which is a long time ago now. And I was visiting a friend of mine who was playing golf at the University of Texas, Paul Ernest, and came up to play with him and some of the guys at UT. And we played the Hills Golf Course. And that was back in 1983. And it was always one of my favorite layouts. And then I got to come to work with Invited back in 2007, and it was always one of the properties I've worked with. And then fast forward to 5 years ago, I moved here and sit on this property and operate the property. And so it's an incredible place here we have at the Hills. So it's 36 holes of Nicklaus golf, the signature course being the premier course, and then the Nicklaus course being the Flint Rock golf course. And then along the way, you have these two very nice country courses, one called Live Oak, one called Yopon, that have been around since the 60s. One of those, the Live Oak golf course is one of those old country courses that has no bunkers. Yopon has some extreme elevation changes and some blind holes, and so it's pretty cool. So when you blend that all together along with a 20-some thousand square foot fitness facility, 14 tennis courts, 9 pickleball courts, heated pool, lap pool, aquatics complex, and all these different features. It's really the lifestyle property that you're at a resort, but you got to go home at night. And we've also created what I call restaurant style dining at all the different properties because we're unique since we have so many clubhouses. So it is really a cool property. Our members love it. And the changes we've been able to do over the last 5 years have really polished it up to the next level.
That sounds terrific. And I've been familiar. I'm familiar, as I was mentioning before we got on. I am connected with Tommy Moore, your director of golf. So I see the property on social media all the time. Beautiful. The signature course looks stunning, obviously. But we're here originally. I guess the reason I'm talking to you today is because what you got going on at the Live Oak course. That's something just kicked off.
Absolutely. So we started this whole process, like I said, in 2019, and now the next step was to take one of our older golf courses, Live Oak, and really bring those playing conditions into a place where our members were going to be even more enjoyable. So a couple of years ago, we reinvented those fairways and put Tiff Tuff in, and the fairways have done really, really well. So this year, we said, we need to take it to the next level. So we took Tiff Tuff around all the greens, tied the collars into the greens, tied the Tiff Tuff back into the fairways, and then we laser leveled all the tee boxes at the property and put all new Tiff Tuff in. So now you're playing on Tiff Tuff tees, Tiff Tuff fairways, tip-top green surrounds, and the greens are champion greens. So your playing conditions from where we were just a few years ago to today, I just rode around this morning. We just opened up the front 9 this week, and the members are extremely excited. The fairways look like carpet. The green surrounds look, really plush because nobody's been playing on them for a while. And then the backside will be open in probably about 2.5 more weeks. And so we're just excited about that property. It also has some really cool oak trees. So in this market, you can't start pruning until July. So we've got a tree company coming in starting in July, and they'll be on that property for about 6 to 7 weeks, pruning up trees, cleaning it all up, and taking that to the next level. So you'll start really embracing the beauty of the hill country, which is these beautiful oak trees, the creeks that run through the property, the rock outcroppings, and all of these things. So it's quite a beautiful property, and we're just pleased that we were able to get this done.
Will members be able to use the golf course while the tree company's in?
Yes, they'll work in and around, close a hole or two, but pretty much stay to the sides and out of play with the members. If they do, we'll do those areas on our closed days.
So I generally ask, what are your members doing while the golf course is closed? Well, obviously you have 3 other full golf courses for them to enjoy. We recently also wrote about the signature course. You just had some work done there as well, correct?
We were blessed in just a few years ago to take the signature course, like I said, when I played it back in the 80s, and take that golf course, which was Jack's second golf course done in Texas. And it is a treasure. It has got unbelievable routing and holes and different things like that. We held the FedEx Senior Tour here, championships for quite a while. So it's that caliber of a golf course. We came in when we did that renovation, and we did tip-top fairways. We did champion G12 greens. We did a tremendous amount of tree work. We removed a lot of trees that were non-strategic to open up corridors. We removed a lot of underbrushing, and we exposed all of the hill country elements, along with the greens got what I would call more modernized. So they have some, what I would say, if you played sawgrass and if you hit it in the right section, you got a good birdie putt. If you don't hit it in the right section, it's not as easy. We lengthened the golf course by probably about 300 yards. So it's par 72, 7,200 yards long now. But we also shortened it. We added forward tees. So you could play a golf course at 5,000 yards if you're just getting started. So it was really about taking the golf course to make this beautiful golf course playable for those that are beginning, and then make it championship caliber for those tour players or the plus handicaps. The other thing we did when we were closed is we have a very large driving range, double-ended, and we made the tee space for the driving range 4 times as big as it was before, and added 28 target greens. So what you really have now is a world-class championship practice facility, double-ended. We took a practice par 3 hole and created a world-class short game area. So when we did the opening, Jack couldn't make it. He was a little under the weather. So his good friend Tom Kite came out and helped us. And I got to know Tom pretty well from different things here in Austin. And he's like, John, I am so impressed with what you guys did on the signature golf course. It's always been one of my favorites. And then what you accomplished on the driving range, he goes, it's just spectacular. Your members will always have great turf to hit off of. And now they can practice all those short shots like I like to practice, right? Because he was a short game guy, those target shots. So again, it's been a few years that it's been open. It's kind of maturing in. And the feedback has just been phenomenal from our members in the local market.
All right, so your members are obviously very happy with the outcome. How did you communicate not only the signature course, but Live Oak and everything else that you're doing to your members in advance? And did you keep them up to date with I don't know, social media posts, newsletters, or how do you keep your members, up to speed with what's going on?
It's a great question, because communication is key. So what we did was we told our members well in advance that we were going to start the project in November for the hills, and told them we celebrated the last round, right, of and had fun doing that. Of course, with the multiple properties, they had plenty of places to play golf. Then, as we went through the construction project and grow in, we did site tours with our members. We had drone footage. We had different things that we could show them the progress we were making, right? And then when we did the pre-opening, we had an entire weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where myself, the superintendent, the director of golf, and one other gentleman who was one of our other superintendents, we toured probably 40% of the people around the golf courses so that they could understand the full story of what happened. And what I told people when we did this, I said, now you're going to see the same golf course, but you're not going to see the same golf course. So look to the right, look to the left, look front, look behind you, and you're going to notice the unbelievable hill country beauty. And now you're going to understand this modernized golf course that Jack Nicklaus did, which is spectacular with all these turfs that you want to play off of them today. So and then the tree work that we did was just phenomenal. So they were just excited. They were in the process as we went through it, which is the way you want to do it with communication. And then we celebrated the opening. We celebrated the first birdie on this hole, the first this on this hole, because it was all brand new, right? And so that was a lot of fun with the members.
That sounds fantastic. Now, no project goes off without hitches. I mean, there's always kind of things that jump up and get you. Any challenges you faced during the renovation process?
Well, as they always say, bring a little bit bigger checkbook, right? So when you're renovating a place that has this kind of history and a signature course of Nicklaus, you get into it and you start to unfold in front of you. And so, for example, on the 18th green, behind the 18th green was all of these cedar trees. And cedar trees are not a good tree. They suck down a lot of water. They grow very quickly. They take the water from all the other good turf and the oak trees. So one of the things we did when we were renovating before we actually started golf course construction is we hired a crew to come in here and pretty much remove all the cedar from the property. Well, when we did this, and then we brought the design team back in, the construction team back in, we noticed that on 18, we opened up this beautiful view to the lake behind it because we never could see it before because of all of the cedar trees. So then the design team says, well, you know what's interesting? This hole, you can't see the green from the tee box. So we think we're going to lower the green by 4 feet and we're going to push it back about another 40% of the green size. So the green size is now this very large 18th green with this waterfall on the left that opens up to the back where you can see the lake behind it. And then we had this tree die on that same hole, 18, to the left, and it framed out the entire fairway to the shot. And this is a marquee hole. Well, they put a bunker on the left-hand side, and it looks like it's been there forever. And so when we did the opening, Tom says, I want to go play the new 18. So we went out there, and it's our first day, and we're doing a member guest practice round. So Tom goes out there, and he's on 18, and he pipes it right down the fairway, about 15 yards, just right at that bunker. And he goes, I really love the way the bunker frames the hole. And then he stands there and he goes, you know what's cool is we're sitting here and I can now see the green top. And then he hits his iron about 12 feet from the hole because it's Tom Kite. And we go up there and he knocks it in. He goes, this is just a really good hole. This is so much better than it was before. And so when you ask what were the surprises, that was probably one of the biggest because we didn't expect to do that. But when you cleared that other piece out, it unfolded in front of you and the designers took advantage of it. And they made a really good hole into a great hole. So that was kind of fun.
I'm always fascinated to talk to designers because they see the golf course in a different way. Tom Kite, I spoke with him when he did Liberty National, gosh, probably about 20 years ago or whatever. So terrific golf mind, obviously. You had mentioned the cedar trees and how they just suck the water out of the turf. Environmental sustainability is key
Mhm.
buzzword in the golf industry right now. Other benefits that you've realized through these renovations with for the environment?
So absolutely. So, by removing those, it helps us with our water piece. Then what we also did is where you had some of these cedars and underbrushing, we went back in with Texas native grasses, and that keeps the look and view feeling more natural for Texas and then the hill country. And so now you're seeing these vistas, the hill country, and that doesn't take as much water. So the conservation piece, the tree pruning, some of the things we did with some of the green surrounds, just made it all come together. So it's absolutely a better property to maintain today because of all the airflow, because we all know that you need airflow to grow grass. And so by limbing up all these trees, creating and getting rid of all this underbrush, the greens all now have great sunlight. That was one of the things we made sure. Tee boxes, the same thing. And then the airflow. So that's what the big focus when we did the renovation.
You've got 72 holes of golf that you're overseeing there at the Hills, but you also have another property nearby, what is it, Westlake, I believe. What's going on at Westlake right now? So you're preoccupied with a lot of stuff going on, but you got even more.
Yeah, I want to talk about Westlake, but before I do that, I want to just revert back to one of the cool things. I think that if you remember here, that you go, here's why I joined. I joined for the golf and this. But when we did these renovations, we created this area right next to the first tee, and it goes by number 1, it goes by number 6, it goes by number 14, because they all route around this one area. And there's these beautiful, massive oak trees, and it used to be where the scoreboard was. So we enhanced this whole area, and that's now called Crossroads. Well, it's a great scoreboard area, but that's also our way when you're playing golf, you stop there to get your drinks and your food. And then every Friday night, it's Austin, it's live music. There's 300 people down there with their families listening to music. And then we have the Chophouse that we built and we renovated last year, which we have 3 concepts here at the club for food and beverage dining. The original one was the Chophouse that we did first, and then we created the new Chophouse look last year, and it's just beautiful, and it overlooks all of this awesome signature golf course. Then over at Flint Rock, we have the Den, which is our Italian theme. I lived in New York for a while. I remember when Liberty National was built. I'm a pizza pasta guy, and so we make house-made pizzas. We make fresh pasta, which nobody else is doing in this market at a club right now. And then we have, because we're Texas, at Live Oak, the course we just renovated, we have Smoked at the Oak, our own barbecue joint for our members. So you can decide where you want to go eat at the club, decide where you want to be. And then at that big sports complex that we renovated a few years ago, that's 20,000 square feet of fitness, which is just beautiful. And we added that Olympic pool. We have the Overlook Bar and Eatery. So if you're a member, you have all these different options to say, where do I want to eat tonight? Where do I want to go play? What activities do I want to do? And so it's really quite interesting how it's all come together. And it's just because our company has so much more focus on lifestyles and what you can do at the club. And so those are all the elements we've been adding for the last few years. And I think it's been a lot of fun. Now, if I take that piece of that story and I tie it into the Westlake piece, here we are 5 years later, we're still just wrapping up some pieces at the Hills. And now we're looking at Westlake, and we said, this place is in a beautiful location. The members want more. They want higher level experience. So we took a club that was more of an entry level golf course, entry level club, and we've repositioned it. So initiation fees went from 20,000 to 85,000. And really what we did to do that is we brought Lanny Watkins in, super nice guy. He redesigned this golf course, which has very few homes around it. So you feel like you're playing in a park, which is kind of unique. A lot of times golf courses are built around subdivisions. This one doesn't feel like that. It's got some great elevation changes. Created this beautiful waterfall on the back of 18, which is just stunning. Lanny gave you all different looks between some drivable par fours to 4 challenging par threes to a par 5 that might remind you of a club up north because of the rock outcroppings and the changes in elevation. You're going to say, wow, am I somewhere in New Jersey where this golf course is, or am I in the hill country? So been very, very well received. We opened that up in November of last year. And right now we're still on carts on path because still maturing. But I was just over there on Tuesday, and it's just beautiful. The golf course in great shape, and we redid the driving range also.
So Invited, you'd mentioned Invited is just spending millions of dollars on the member experience, elevating every aspect of club life. What are you looking at, say, if you could pull out your crystal ball, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, not just at the Hills or at Westlake, but in the industry as a whole? What do you see coming down the pipeline?
You know, that's a great question. And so when I look at that, you know, what we want to be is your third place, right? So it's work, home, and then a club. And the club life is really what it's all about. And we focus on fun family community, right? Everybody joins the club. You want to be in community. And I spell community with a giant UNITY, right? Because I think that's fun. And so if you look at what's happening at Westlake, it's the evolution of what I call outdoor resort style pool life, right? With restaurants and those things. It's pickleball, because pickleball is a crossover game for golfers and those kind of pieces. It's the new wellness facility that's opening up in July. Now, when you talk about where we're going next, wellness is a big part of club life, right? So you have our wellness facilities. As we continue to grow, we're going to add more elements of wellness, right? So nutritionists, programming for those kind of pieces, different types of program rooms for stretching and this and all those kind of pieces. So it's really where it's going to be that we're going to be there to help you enjoy your life, have fun with your family and your friends at your club, but also make sure you're staying healthy. You have all these opportunities to do these things at the club as we continue to move forward. And then with golf, as you know, golf is definitely moving in the right direction. Our focus is on the kids and the women in golf. And so our partnership with, you know, the junior leagues and all those lesson programs that we run at each of the clubs to get kids in the game of golf is working. If you look at how many junior league teams we have in our company, and we just are doing a junior league thing, I think with Jordan Spieth that we just announced and all that kind of stuff, it's really fun. And then the wellness piece, you know, if you're a member, Rob, and you come to the club and you're Brendan, you get a fit start. So we're going to find out where you are, see what you want to do, what do you want to accomplish, and how. And then if you're a golfer, we're going to ask you, well, what do you want to work on in golf from your fitness routine to help you do this? If you're a tennis player, we're going to do the same thing. So what you're seeing is more connectivity and crossover between fitness and golf and racket sports. And then you're seeing full lifestyle dining features at your club. So all those elements of where you want to go out to eat at night, we want to be your first choice. So if you were at our club, you have 3 different choices. If you're at Westlake, you got a couple different little choices, right? So that's really where we're focused at, is if we can be your third place, and it's where you go to have fun with your family and your friends and in community, then the club life really is what it's all about.
So golf, racket sports, dining, entertainment, aquatics, you name it, right? Fitness, all these things that people do day to day, all in one place. It's a fantastic property, obviously, you have down there, and best of luck going forward. John, thank you very much for joining us, and please keep us posted as Live Oak, the back nine, opens up, and the next, I'm sure there's another project coming down the pipeline.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun to open it up. We're going to have a big barbecue celebration, cut the ribbon, celebrate all those new attributes, the first birdie on this hole and all those kind of things. So come on down and see us, Rob, and appreciate the time today.
You had me at barbecue, and it sounds like it's going to be more than a one-night stay since you have a lot of different options.
Absolutely.